I know it may sound crazy, it may be absolutely ridiculous, it may just be me, but sometimes I feel like the dead owe me an apology. I do. I feel like if you have insight on what's going to happen, on what's going to be, then at some point in time, I feel like you owe me an apology. The 9-year-old me, the 8-year-old me, the 7-year-old me, the one that would be left back here without you to survive, to live, to thrive in this kind of a world, I feel like you owe me an apology. An apology for leaving me. I feel like go through so many things in life and you don't have the training, you don't have the equipment, you don't have the loving, you don't have, be it that it was an accident, an incident, it was self-inflicted, it was that you were tired, whatever it was, is that you owe me an apology. So I feel like when I get to heaven, it won't be a great reunion, it's going to be, I feel like when we get to heaven, it's going to be why you left me. And I know, like, death seemingly is out of our hands, it's out of our control, it's something we have no part in. It just takes you when it wants to. But I'm trying to understand that even if it works out for your good, it doesn't feel good, and feeling good is a part of being good. But if I don't feel good, I can't be good. How does that work out for my good? I'm trying to find out today. And people be like, you have to trust God. You have to know that when you cannot trace him, that you can still believe him, is that you can still see him before you see him. But sometimes you don't see him in it, you see him on it, and it doesn't make sense that God would do this. But why would you take them knowing I needed them? And I think one of the most toxic places you could ever be in your life is the place where people tell you family business is not shared business. But can I tell you, if you can offend your family, it has to be something where you can't silence them too. But it becomes offensive that people want to hurt you, leave you, develop in less love of you, and then silence you. You depict heaven as being a place that awaits you your salvific glory, your freedom from hell on this side, your escape from torture, your greater resting place, the place where God then brings everything to understanding. But if that is true, that what is this side? What is this side? I feel like so many people find themselves in a space where they want to give up on today. I mean, and it becomes so real and so relevant. It's like you feel that and you go through those emotions and you deal with those feelings and you go through those situations where you don't want to do it anymore. And I tell you, like, you have to draw strength, bring it from somewhere. But at the end of the day, it's like what you feel like you're owed an apology for, you can't become in debt of. You can't then begin borrowing from people what you don't even have to give. You can't expect from them what you have not lived. You can't come to a place where you're ready to throw in when you haven't even swung the first time. You have to say, I owe me an apology. So Why haven't you coped? Why haven't you dealt with? Why haven't you grown through it? Why have you let loss affect you so much until you cannot gain, cannot live, cannot thrive, cannot survive, cannot move on because of what somebody left behind on you living? Recognize an identity that they died. Yeah, it seems like these things hurt, I think, to an extent above many things, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to say is that I made it through anyway. When do you take responsibility for your own insecurities, for your own effectiveness in this depressiveness? How can you look at you and say that you are the one who owes you an apology? Like it's just easier. It's easier not being able to talk to the person, and so you can require anything you want to from them, but how you require stuff from people who didn't even offend you, where you were just hurt in their tragedy. I'm a parent, and it's crazy how I was a parent before I even was a parent, but I wasn't a parent. Does that make sense? Where you would be like required to step up, but you haven't arrived at that step. So I became one at 20 and 21. I was newly out the house, I was newly married, I was a new parent, and I was a newly found person. And you hurt people in your growth because you have not grown to where they need you to be. And at some point in time, you have to see, like, yeah, I require an apology for not training, not growing, not being there to develop. But when do you require it of you for you? What about the people you left behind? What about the people you hurt? What about the people that you never asked forgiveness for, but you would martyr, you would murk, you would kill along on the way of your growing up? Jesus says in Matthew chapter 6, after he ends the Lord's Prayer, he says that forgive your debts one to another. That the Lord, you ask for passing grace of forgiveness from forgives you. How can you expect to be forgiven when you won't forgive? I understand it is for you. It's for you that you go through what you've been through to lead you to where you are now so that you can forgive you. You can be the apology you require and accept. Or you can be the apology for the voice that's never kept. You can be the one who says, I'm sorry for everything I've been through, that I would put me through, that I allowed myself to keep going through even though it ended. Where you can know, you can say, you can identify with, I laid there way too long, stayed there way too long, should have been gone, mourned it way, way past time. I would be not them, me on my mind, in my demise, in my uncomfortable space, telling myself that it's because of them I'm in this place. And in reality, it is you that holds you down, keeps you down, buries you here, that you owe you the apology that you seek from them. So this becomes like therapeutic in process, in nature. This becomes something that you have to identify with at some point in time. And so for me, it is tonight that, Jeremiah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the 9-year old you who wouldn't ever know her. I'm sorry. Sorry to the you that would grow up in a place where you didn't feel where you wanted to be and couldn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to me you couldn't be because of what you let stop you. I'm sorry for the opportunities that I would stop you from going on, from achieving, from doing, from being. Sorry for the people that I hurt along on the way, trying to find out who I was, who I would be. For the babies that I never see, that it comes from a love place that I care, but situations and circumstance I limit me from being there. So at some point in time, you have to develop, in no more excuses. Jeremiah, you have to take responsibility, and you have to be your answer for your problem, your question of why you're not coming through, why you haven't come out. Well, then you can look at you and say, I'm sorry today. So, like, I'm sorry it took you this long to get to the transformation. I'm sorry it took you this long to mature. I'm sorry I didn't nurture and growth where it is. You should have learned from situations, from circumstances, from events that would hinder you. I didn't take precautions and learn from and protect your heart. Sorry for letting some people get so close to you that they would offend you and you still let them in because you didn't want to lose anybody else. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you didn't see it. I'm sorry that you didn't know. I'm sorry that it seems like so many things would come your way, catch you off guard, but really in the back of your mind, I knew. Sorry that I kept silent so many times when there were things that were clearly on my mind that I should have said and didn't. Putting yourself in places where you know you wanted to go, but you stayed because somebody's feelings would have gotten hurt. But really, you're lying to you because you're trying to protect yourself. It's me who owes me an apology. So to the me looking back at me, here's your apology.